friends, it's Gwen. I know you all love beautifully layered scrapbook layouts, so today I thought it would be fun to chat all things layering. I have a step-by-step layout tutorial to share and 9 simple ways that you can add layering to your layouts. It's time to get creating, so let's jump right on in. I'm using Pink Fresh Studios' Lovely Blooms collection, and these supplies were sent to me very generously by Crazy Craft Obsession. They are an Australian craft store specialising in scrapbooking, paper crafts and mixed media. They ship to Australia and New Zealand, and if you check the description box below, you'll find a very special deal. It's time to get started on the layout, and here's the plan. I'm going to try and get as many layers as possible on this layout, and the first one is actually going to be the layout frame. I add this detail to many of the pages I create. It's a really great way to sort of finish off a page, and it adds extra detail without adding any bulk. Layer number 2 is going to be my plain white cardstock background, but don't worry, it's not going to stay that way. I will be adding something to it later on in the video. I need to work on layer number 3 next, and that's going to be my photo mat. I'm going to use the paper pad to do this, and initially I was going to go with this deep green, but you'll see here in a moment, once I mat the photo, it felt a bit dark and heavy. Lucky for me, the B side of the paper is perfect, so I'm going to go with that. I've also added in some stitching around the frame of the layout and on my photo. I really love the texture that stitching adds to a layout. Layer number 4 is going to be these really cute tag pockets. You'll see that I have attached the photo on the left hand side there to that piece, and I'm going to build out my embellishments and my layers top down. So you'll see here already that none of this is attached to the background yet. Layer number 5 is this chipboard frame, and I'm going to tuck in layer number 6, which will be these really pretty die cut florals. To get a cohesive look, it's always a good idea to replicate images and icons. So I'm going to go ahead and add a couple more of these cute little tags and pockets. The tags in this collection are really lovely because they have these gold rings on them. So I am going to end up using 3 in total. This is a bit of a back to front way of creating because essentially I'm working from the photo down instead of from the base of the layout up towards the photo. There is a very good reason for this in this circumstance, and I'll get to that very soon. As I work through adding all the layers, I am working largest through to smallest, and I did notice that I had a bit of a gap there on the right of the photo, and I found this pocket right here which I thought would fill it beautifully. I've scooched everything down to the edge of the layout because I'm using that bottom edge as a bit of a guide to make sure that all of the elements that I'm adding are nice and square and straight. Things are getting serious because I am gluing stuff down. I am being super careful though to only add glue to this top section and not to my background. I did forget about the adhesive on the back of the frame there though. Luckily I was able to lift that up. Now's the time to lock in the position of these top 2 tags. So again, just adding glue where I know it will attach to the back of the tags and not to the back of my layout. The banner at the bottom here was feeling a little bit flat, so I did switch out the regular double-sided tape with some 3D foam, and I am going to now build out some more of these floral clusters. It's important at this part of the process to pay attention to the outside edge of the layers. If I was to draw a line around that outside edge of all of the elements, so up along the tops of the tags, down across the tag on the left, down the left-hand side of the cluster, I want that line to be super interesting. I don't want to be creating any rectangles, so you'll see wherever papers join, they don't line up exactly. There's always like a little bump in that line that I'm creating around that edge. I am a thrifty scrapbooker, so I'm going to reuse this little piece here, which was going to be hidden behind the paper layers, and I've turned that single die cut into two. This is not only super smart in terms of saving money, but it helps you get a cohesive look. I did mention it earlier. If you replicate images and icons in your layers and in your clusters, your layout feels really pulled together. I still have 3 more layers that I'm going to add to the layout, and the next one is actually going to be paper strips. When I took a moment to step back and look at the layers and things that I had created, I felt like it needed something more grounding on the right hand side there. So I'm going to solve this problem with a really simple paper strip. While I put that into place, I did want to mention here too a little bit about texture. As you create your layers, you will want to mix and match textures. If all of these pieces were all paper, it would seem very papery. I know that sounds ridiculous because we are talking about a scrapbook layout, but texture can make all the difference. So layer number 8 is actually going to be these really fun puffy stickers. We are almost at layer number 9, but stick around because I do have a bonus layer to add. Layer number 9 is going to be mixed media. Yes, I'm going to use this beautiful stencil and some distress ink. And now you can see why I built the layout this way. I wanted to be able to add the mixed media to the background, but still have really precise control over where it would end up in relation to the elements that I had on the page. I'm not super experienced with adding mixed media to my layouts, and I was having some trouble knowing where to put it at the beginning of the process. Sometimes I would add too much and it would just feel like a lot of mixed media in the end product, and then other times I wouldn't add enough and then I would add in all of my embellishments and cover up, most of it. I asked for help and you gals came through. I had so much advice left for me in the comments. Thank you so much for that. The biggest tip that was shared was to add it at this point in the layout. So sort of back to front, but at least here in this way, I know exactly what I've got to work with. And then I can see, look, I can lift that whole piece and layer it onto my page and know exactly where I want to add my mixed media. The color I'm using is Spun Sugar, and in fact, Cass and the team at Crazy Craft Obsession matched a bunch of distress ink to this collection, so you'll want to get into the Facebook group to check that out. I really took my time here and made sure that I had the ink placed exactly where I wanted it, and now that that's all done, I can attach this large piece down onto my background. Of course, I need to make sure it's square, so I am going to use my T-square ruler for that. And here you can see how the mixed media just peeks through. It's like it's perfectly placed. I love doing it this way so much. I do still want to add in a few more details. I am going to build out some more of the leaves and florals, and I do still have that one bonus layer that I want to add in. I have loved creating with this collection. It is stunning. And if you are an Aussie or New Zealand creative friend, you really need to check out Crazy Craft Obsession. They have so many beautiful supplies there. It's a family-owned Aussie business that you'll be supporting. Be sure to check the link and the discount code in the description box below. I think it's time for layer number 10, and that is Enamel Dots. I'm going to add those as clusters around the layout, and while I do that, I want to share with you lots of close-up images so you can see all of the details. Thanks so much for being here, my creative friends. If you like the way that I scrapbook or the way that I chat about the way that I scrapbook, I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you're not sure where to go next, this is the video for you. It's sure to inspire. I'll see you all next time. Until then, bye.